What a powerful song! The Swanage after 1,000 years. Very impressive sight. The names are going to be of absolutely terrific carnival. On the inshore side, then they will all come up, all get rapid and come back anyway. And you'll see in the next 30 minutes or so, some virtually back here, and it will be all over. Very good time, and we're doing very well. Good luck. Brilliant, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, a hero's welcome to Dennis Jessup as he appears cool and collected, will certainly score so far. Congratulations, there's a great race here. We're very pleased to give a special welcome to one of our local practitioners, Dr. David Haynes, and no jokes about artificial resuscitation. Well done. Very good show. Warm welcome.
Yeah. The thing is, if you could, yeah.
Well done. Brian, handshake. Well done. The handshake is part of all the children. There's at least one that's separated.
Sorry.
This is one swimmer some distance out. This young man coming in. A girl, I'm told. My goodness, we are terrific. Wonderful. And another girl coming in. Well done. We took part in the road race on Saturday. So we used some three-handed cups, an amphora, and it's in memory of Jenny Caruana, a well-loved member of our team in the Regatta Carnival. There's Tom. Well done, Tom. Congratulations. And the third, Alex Wiggins. Well done, Alex. Tremendous.
Go on.
Farmer.
Quick.
You're going to see David Swilling. Farmer David Swilling. Probably disappointing in that way. First girl home with Rachel. Take the first girl home with Roy Rachel. Thanks everybody off the key. Well done. Beautiful. At the time, 15:20. Magnificent performance.
3. You were 3rd. A former Carnival band. Bad to go with that one. And you were 2nd. A former Carnival
Blue by Richard Conn as followed. And then there's Charlie, entered by Stuart Crisp, Chester by Marion Wood, and Doctor by the owner's Mr. Smith. There are some more entries in that field, quite a big entry. When you bring your pets here, do look around. Some of the trees offer some shade, and some of the structures and vehicles. So try and find what shade you can. There's plenty of water. We keep ample water laid on up here at this end of the field. The judges have made a selection of some kind. Richard Connor is the owner of Blue, and he's going to show him now to all of you so you can see what a fine dog is Blue. Richard Connor. And there again, a beautiful selection of dogs of every class, every breed, and some interesting mixtures.
can think of a name, and a really nice, unusual, different name that would suit a bird that looks so beautiful as this, being a male, have a think about it, and if you do, come along and give me some suggestions, please. Because after a while, you do get a bit stuck. Now, you've heard the saying about the wise old owl, I'm sure. Now, this is all a myth, and it goes way, way back from the goddess of wisdom. So because the owls roosted in the temple of the goddess of wisdom, thereon in it was assumed that owls were very wise and very intelligent. Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, this is completely untrue, and as beautiful as they are as thick as two short planks. And one thing I would say to all of you is if you don't stick around, when she sat there within her little group, she was showing my kids, yeah? Look at my kids.
Ready, steady, go. That's it, all head this way, quickly. Head this way, then out to sea, on the sea side, right round, and then back in again, where the man's waiting. Second round. So this was Jim and wasn't this going to be the official rider, was it?
And so, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me very great pleasure to present the 1997 Royal Air Force Aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Having arrived in 9 Arrow, the aircraft pull into a loop and change into our signature formation, the Diamond. Right at the tip of the Diamond is Red 1, squadron leader Simon Meade. Simon is in his first year as leader, although he was previously in the team from 1990 to 1993. Turning to the display today, in the first half we can expect to see a series of manoeuvres performed by all 9 aircraft in close formation. For those of you with cameras, there will be some excellent photographic opportunities, and I'll try and warn you when these are coming up. Watch out for formations called EFA, Apollo and Flanker. In the second half, things will get much more exciting with the aircraft split into its 2 basic components, which is the front 5 aircraft and the rear 4 aircraft. The team have performed well over 3,200 displays in over 52 countries, including a recent tour to South Africa, Australia and the Far East. lead section are returning from in front of you now for the split. On a radio call, each pair of aircraft will break away from the leader in turn.
We're staying with a slower, more sedate aircraft, and this is a very interesting display team. They're called the Diamond 9 team. Diamond 9 as in Red Arrow's Diamond 9. Well, that is some sign. So who's in the team? Well, there's Charlie Shea Simmons, who leads in the front of the formation. It was he who had the original idea back in 1986 and has led the team throughout. Next to him in the formation is Peter Jackson, PJ, as he's well known, and Nigel Rookie. Nigel is the youngster of the team. I won't give his precise age, but he says mid-40s. Behind Charlie is Peter LaCoit, a retired dentist, and with him on the outside of the Diamonds are Roger Hanna, who has just retired from flying jumbos and now enjoys ticking around with vintage cars, and Mike Vasey, who restores vintage aircraft engines, which is really useful when you've got a display flag like this. At the rear is Ken Whitehead. His aircraft, when they come back into Diamond 9, you'll pick that one out quite clearly, is in fact the oldest in the team, at 62 years of age.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you for bearing with us whilst our very unspeedy Osters make their way down here. If you look to your left over the headline now, you can see the 3 aircraft coming in. They've come down from our base at Middle Wallop, which is the home of Army flying. And in the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to show you something of the first 25 years of Army flying. It's the 40th anniversary of the birth of the Army Air Corps, the Army's flying wing, this year. But actually the roots of Army flying go back to the First World War. And these aircraft represent the middle 25-year period. Coming in, leading the formation, is Brigadier Edward Tate in the Korean War Oster, the Mark 7. The next one back is the D-Day Oster, the Mark 5, and bringing up the rear is the last of the Oster line, the Mark 9. That's flown by Captain Chris Fielder, and I should have said that the D-Day Oster is flown by actually an Air Force officer, Flight Lieutenant Steve Partridge. Now, the Oster is an unarmed aeroplane. It had its roots in the private aircraft of the first period of private flying before the Second World War. And it came into Army service to answer the need that all soldiers have to be able to see over the hill in front of them.
Appearing very shortly indeed. There's a guy who could well be teaching you to fly if you ever fancy taking up flying as a hobby or maybe as a career.
And so as they accelerate in towards you, it is with great pleasure I introduce you to the 1997 Rover Group Aerobatic team. This time they're not going to put the rudder on, they're just going to let gravity take over. At this point, the grey sky they were looking at turns into grey water, and they concentrate on missing it. Now, as they come in, get ready for the rover break. Now, as they come over the top, fighting this wind that's knocking them one way, we see John Taylor in Rover 2 rolling out into line abreast formation. This formation is particularly difficult. It's rather like trying to drive your car down the motorway while only ever looking out of the side window and keeping in position with the car next to you.
Here's John Griffin with the steerman. Just the sort of thing to shake the cobwebs out. Straight into a loop. Completing the second part of a Cuban. Very important when you enter into a loop or a stall turn, when you're pulling up into the vertical, the wings must be level on the horizon, and then just turn the plane over with a coordination of hand and feet movements on the rudder bar and the ailerons, and in she falls over the top. Let gravity take over, pull you down, and then put the power back on. In fact, the Antonov AN2. And it's flown by Squadron Leader Andrew Wyatt. In the livery of the St. Ivel Utterly Butterly. into the roll, and it could be that the flat spin comes out on the top. There, yep, the inverted flat spin. Basically upside down and just hurtling down towards the sea, regaining control into a roll and pulling out again. And that's one hell of a way to start a display. Spinning is not the best thing in the world to do. It's quite easy for inexperienced people to get totally disorientated in a spin, but to do it upside down as well, it does make your eyes bulge slightly. Introduced in 1995, the Flyer Yak almost instantly became one of the most spectacular solo display acts of the season, winning acclaim from organisers and public for the content and the entertainment value that was packed into 10 minutes of flying brilliance from John Griffin. Well, there it is, that's Crunchy, and if you can just make out on the top, that is Helen Tempest. One of the most amazing women I think you could ever wish to meet. Anybody who will strap themselves to the top of one of those planes and do that, it's got to be pretty good in my money. later on in the year. The 20th of August, they will be at Weymouth. The Meteor and the Vampire, two very distinctive aircraft from Jet Heritage Charitable Foundation, based over at Bournemouth International Airport. The Meteor brought Britain into the jet era, the only Allied aircraft, or Allied jet aircraft, to serve in World War II. And it is perhaps best remembered for tipping up the wings of the Germans' V-1 rockets in flight. It also performed with distinction in the Korean War and twice held the world air speed record. That's the Meteor, and with that will be the Vampire. And the distinctive Vampire, as it should be called with its twin boom design, was the RAF's second jet fighter, entering service in 1946. Initially a day interceptor, the Vampire was subsequently re-rolled as a ground attack aircraft. Most numerous of the single-seat versions were the FB5 and FB9. The Swordfish, which is a truly incredible aircraft. And maybe some ex-naval personnel in the crowd today will remember exactly what it was like to see those planes flying around. Very sedate compared to the Red Arrows, but nonetheless a pretty good display. The pilot this afternoon is Phil Shaw. He's in his third season with the Royal Navy Historic Flight. Joined the Navy in 1969 and earned his wings in 1970. And after training on the Wessex and the New Sea King, he joined 819 Squadron. Totally different technology to the very elegant lady that's flying by now. Much more sedate pace. A wonderful old plane. The Royal Naval Historic Flight was established at the Royal Naval Air Station at Gilverton in 1972, and that was really in order to preserve naval heritage. Incidentally, Mark Levy, who was the team leader there, if you're flying British Airways, as I said, Mark flies 757s. If you're on a British Airways plane and you hear over the intercom, the first officer is Officer Levy. It may not be Mark, it could be his first officer wife, Julie, who also flies for British Airways. That's the Aerostars, the Yak team, which concludes the afternoon's flying displays, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for attending, and I hope you enjoyed the display, and I hope we can welcome you all back again next year.